Hey guys, so we're gonna be making the wurst salad and the bread now, along with our special guest, Tim Eucler. All right. Shut up. Okay. So let's get it started. All right, so for the first step of making some wurst salad, get yourself some good, high quality Leoner. And you're gonna wanna cut it up into nice small strips. And then you're gonna wanna get yourself, it's okay. Get yourself, you can talk about it, Tim.
Some nice Swiss cheese.
And cut it up into similar sized strips as your Leoner. So we're gonna do that now. Okay, so we're gonna move on. So we're gonna take all of our ingredients that are all finely chopped up. So you got the Leoners on top and then the cheese on the bottom. We're just gonna add it all to one big old mixing bowl. So for our next ingredient, we want to add and slice up one onion. If you have a really tiny onion like us, you might end up wanting to cut two, but you can kind of just do it to taste. And yeah, so we're gonna do that now. So we're all done cutting up these onions. So we're just gonna put them on into that bowl. Okay, so for our next step, we are gonna want 6 tablespoons of what?
Sunflower oil.
Sunflower oil.
And
so get yourself
4 tablespoons of seasoned vinegar.
and 4 tablespoons of seasoned vinegar, but we'll get to that later. Okay, so get yourself some good old sunflower oil. Unscrew that cap. And this you can just pour right above that bowl. Fill it right up to the 1 tablespoon line. So there's 1. There's 2. There's 3. There's 4. There's 5.
Last
There's
one.
6. Last one. Get excited. And 6. Actually, I missed a little bit on the last one, so there's a little extra.
Adventurous today, aren't we?
All right, now Tim will be adding in the best ingredient of them all, some good old seasoned vinegar. How much do we need of it?
Is it 1? No. Not 2.
Is it 2? No.
It's not 3 either.
It's 4.
It's 4.
It's 4.
4 entire tablespoons. It's this the tablespoon.
Yeah,
right?
that's tablespoon. Yeah.
Seasoned vinegar. Count along. 1,
That's 2,
3. Last one.
wait, a little more. 4. And a little more. All right, I'll mix up. All right, so this step is a little bit more boring, but we're gonna want 1.5 teaspoons of sugar.
That's 1
and a half.
and a half.
So let's get our 1 teaspoon measure. Dig right into that bowl of sugar. Get ourselves a good old 1 teaspoon sugar. Dump her in. Get our half teaspoon right here.
A half
Get
teaspoon.
her right on in there. And dump her on in.
Perfect.
On to the next step. So for our next step, we're gonna take 1 box of chives and we're gonna use about half of it. And you want them to be in smaller pieces, and you can use a cutting board for this, but the easiest option is just to take a pair of scissors, grab them as a little bunch, so we both have scissors, so we can both
Cutting knife.
line them up all good. And we're just gonna cut them into really small little pieces. Just make our lives a lot easier. You guys are enjoying watching this so far. Oh, Tim's gonna think. This guy. This is the German joke. You should keep German. Do it. Tell me what you did from.
No.
Oh.
You also want to make sure that as you're cutting the chives,
That's right. Just at the end.
also want to make sure that as you're cutting the chives, you want them to be nice and spread out, and not all in one pile, like Mika has done here. Notice how his are all in a pile. Mine are all nice and evenly spread.
So we are just going to finish it up here with these last couple cuts. And that's all the chives. All right, we're just wrapping up the wurst salad now. We are going to be filling this up with a 1/3 cup of water, dumping it right on in, and then grabbing yourself some good old-fashioned salt and pepper. I would recommend 2 shakies of salt and 1 shaky of salt.
No, you want a
2
decent
of
amount of pepper.
Yeah, maybe even 3. Let's spice it up a little. And that is gonna be our wurst salad. The last step is just to mix. So we're gonna do that now. All right, so now we've got all of our ingredients in the bowl. We're just gonna get our hands in there we're just gonna mix it right on up. Now this can be done with just one person, but you know what they say?
It's twice as mixed.
Yep, two's a crowd. We're just gonna mix, really just up and in there.
Really get in there.
I would recommend putting a glove on if you have any sort of cuts on your hands for both health reasons, as that would be pretty gross, and also vinegar and cuts usually don't sit too well. Let's take a look at it. Let's just do one last couple foldovers, and that's pretty good. So you just want to make sure everything's like nice and coated in that vinegar and water and sunflower oil. And now we're just gonna pop a lid on that and let it sit in the fridge for about 2 hours to even overnight if you really want it all to just get in there. All right, so we got our lid on. We're just gonna be putting that to store for about 2 hours. Hey guys, I'm gonna have to be a little quiet because it's late. But here's the instructions on how to make the bread to accompany the wurst salad. Okay guys, so this bread is actually really easy to make. So, and it's like super duper yummy, and you would never expect it. So, we're gonna start by adding 3 cups of flour into a bigger mixing bowl, which is gonna be this one right here. So let's do it. So measure out your flour, all good and nice. Make sure you have some good measurements. One. Here's the second one, 2. And here's the third one. Oh, almost got it. There we go. 3 cups of flour. That's step 1, and there's only 4 steps, so this will be pretty easy. Okay, so we're gonna move on to step 2 now. Step 2 is adding the salt. So you want 1 3/4 teaspoons of salt. So I like to pour my salt over my sink, because then if I pour it over the bowl, you don't want extra salt going in, because then it could taste bad. So, yep. So 1 teaspoon plus 1/4. All right, basically, there's our salt. So that's step 2. Only 2 more to go. Okay guys, so back at hide, there's sort of a third step I'm realizing now, but there's only 4 ingredients. So a third ingredient is gonna be half a teaspoon of active dry yeast. Looks like this. You don't use it much, but it's pretty handy. So I'm gonna measure that out. All good and dandy. Yep. And then we're just gonna add her on in. So that's ingredient 3. All right. It's time for the last ingredient. This one's the easiest one. So get yourself some good old fashioned measurer. And bring her on over to our bowl, making sure not to spill. Dumping it on in, and then we're gonna grab a 1/2 cup. Just right here. And we're just gonna do the same thing. So you're gonna fill her on up. It's pretty good. And dump her straight in. Now it's time for the last step. Alright, so as you guys probably noticed, my sweater is now off. I've got gloves on. So as you would probably guess, we're gonna be mixing it all up. So alright guys, we're all done with making the dough. Looks something like that. I'm gonna put a towel over top her and let her sit for the night and just let it rise, you know? So it'll be a little bit bigger tomorrow, and then we're gonna pop her in the oven and bake it on up. So yeah, that's the bread. Alright, so while our wurst salad is in the fridge getting all nice and marinated, we are gonna be cooking the dough and making it into a nice yummy bread. So your dough from yesterday should have risen up and kind of expanded a little bit, the stuff that you made last night, and you're just gonna cover your workspace in flour. Take your dough, it's gonna be very sticky probably. It's gonna have like a sort of a top layer.
That's what the flour's for.
But luckily we have, yeah, that was right, we have flour. So our folks, who wants? So just gonna put it right onto the counter, spread it out all nice and good. All right, so we put our bread into a nice spherical shape, and now it's in the cast iron pan. We're just gonna be putting it right onto the oven for 30 minutes. I might have said 15 earlier, that was a mistake. Put it in for 30, set your timer, and now we wait. All right, so your bread should be looking about like this right now. And you're just gonna wanna take the lid off and put it in for another 15 minutes to finish up. All right, so it's been 15 minutes with the lid off. Our bread is all finished in here, so very carefully get your hands in there. Make sure you got oven mitts on. Grab a hold of it. Make sure you got a hot plate because you don't want to burn your counter. Put it right on down. Oh yeah. And let's just take a look at this bad boy. Real good.